I like wine. Wine will be great come February.
Well, great. That'll be about the same time that I get my gift from you.
Yeah, that's right. I just showed you the delivery notice. Ordered January 8th will be delivered, ordered December 8th will be delivered January 8th. Awesome. Merry
Must
Christmas.
be really special.
Yeah, handmade.
Look out.
Custom handmade.
Custom.
So the only one that was on time with Christmas gifts this year was Kang. And thank you, Kang, for the Christmas gift.
Well, to be fair, you left the building before I had a chance to give you the bottle. I had a bottle in my desk.
That's true, yeah.
But
You always keep that bottle there, I thought.
Shh. What's in the drawer of Gator's desk?
not that bottle.
Alcohol.
The other bottle.
Speaking of which, might have played a role last night with Paul Davis.
You think maybe? He's drinking some twisted tea.
Dude.
And he meant to take one last sip, put it down, and then
I'm
gotta
go.
In that situation, you don't know what else to do, so you just whatever you got in your hand, you just drink it.
Yeah.
Like that's what got you in trouble in the first place.
So those who don't know, Paul Davis, former Spartan center, was at the basketball game last night. Michigan State hosting USC. Michigan State blowing them out. And late in the second half, I don't know, 4.5 minutes to go in the second half or so, he yelled something unsavory at the official. The official automatically said, "You got to go," and walked over to Izzo, told Izzo what happened, and Izzo's looking across and said, "Who? Where? What?" And then Paul Davis stands up, like finishes his last tug on the twisted tea, sets it down, and then he like stands up and kind of taps his chest like, "Hello, it's me," and Izzo looks across and goes, "What the F are you doing?" Or what the F is wrong with you? I think it may have been what he said. And then says, "Get him out of here." And they're taking their time of removing Paul Davis from the arena. And Izzo's getting more demonstrative. So what is a mystery, I guess, is what exactly was it that Paul Davis said to the official?
I think it's pretty well established that whatever it was unsavory.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have said it. And it's embarrassing, but I'm kind of with Izzo, don't make it more than it needs to be. However, there's two things I kind of want to talk about out of this. One is, how do you feel about the twisted tea? Because the kids love the tweeze.
Sure,
the
fair
kids
enough.
love the tweeze.
Is that what they call them?
Yep.
Tweeze?
Tweeze.
I've only had like one or two in my life.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I didn't mind it at all. I think it's one of those things I enjoy if it's a hot summer day. I might even pour it over ice and just sip it. It's non-carbonated. So it's a nice little change up. I don't mind it.
I find them to be too sugary, but they have a light version that, quite frankly, is flavorful enough. And you like it's like, you know how you like zero products with the zero sugary, 0 calories, that whole thing. The light version of the twisted tea is just fine.
I'd try it. I don't know what the alcohol content is. I mean, it's the reason you're drinking is for the alcohol content. So if the light version is still like a light beer, like 4.5%, okay, I'd still drink it.
Two is when watching that last night as it transpired. And again, the official, you could see before he blows the whistle to stop play, he kind of turns once, then he kind of turns again, and then blows the whistle and stops play and immediately points at somebody who stood out physically. And at first I thought it looked like a former football player or something like that.
I was concerned about it.
And it was alumni night with the Izzone and all that. So there was, some veteran fans there. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? But they show a shot where you could see a smattering, not everybody, but a couple people around him clapping. And maybe it was just a coincidence they were clapping, or were they like, all right, he's enough.
I don't know. It seemed pretty obvious he knew he was gone. And I don't know if people were thrilled that he was being ejected or not. I think it's something that everybody regrets.
I think it's a very regrettable thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And because now there is all this attention. Had it just been Joe Schmo, fan, nobody'd care. Nobody would talk about it other than say, "Oh, yeah,
actually,
stop
I
the
would
game
have.
and a fan to get ejected." And we'd talk about, hey, why was this guy? But
I was going to bring it up before I realized it was Paul Davis, just because it's so unusual to see a fan get thrown out of a game by a game official.
Yeah.
People getting thrown out of games happens all the time.
Sure.
But usually it's not from one of the officials blowing the whistle and stopping play, right? So that I was like, well, this is unusual. We'll have to talk about this. And then I find out it's Paul Davis. But have you ever been privy to somebody getting tossed, or have you ever been that guy to get tossed, and what led to it? Now, let me be clear when I say what led to it. We just need to know the topic, the general topic. We don't need exact quotes that are unairable, but what was the general topic that you heard someone get thrown out for? Or did you?
I don't know why I was thinking about this last night, lying in bed, trying to go to sleep, and I'm just thinking of stuff, right? And I started thinking about when I was younger, I was in high school, and I used to go to the professional wrestling matches all the time. And we'd go, I think they came every 6 to 8 weeks. They would come either to Joe Louis Arena or Cobo, and my friends and I would go. We did this at least a half dozen times when I was 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that range. And we weren't kicked out. However, looking back on what we did, we should have been kicked out.
Really?
This was just a house show for wrestling. This wasn't a TV show, because now everything is for TV tapings. They don't do many house shows for WWE or AEW. Everything is just for TV. So it's like once a week.
Okay.
Back in the day, these guys used to wrestle 5, 6, 7 times a week, different place every night. So my friends and I made up some signs.
Oh, God.
We got poster board, markers, and wrote up 3 signs that I can remember. The signs that we wrote, the language we used was wildly inappropriate.
Is that right?
Wildly yes, very much so. And to this day, I'm like, when I was thinking about this last night, I'm like, what were we doing? Like, had this been a show today, they wouldn't have allowed us in the arena with these signs. But back then, didn't care. Go ahead and come on in. And we held them up, and there were 3 different ones. One was for Bob Orton Jr. at the time, who was known as Ace Orton, Roddy Piper's bodyguard at the time.
Okay.
And we had, I can't say what we wrote on it, but it was wildly inappropriate. We held it up, and we had 6 rows so that we thought the wrestlers would see it. Bob Orton Jr. saw it, looked at it, pointed at us, and laughed. And we're like, yes, validation. He saw it. We're laughing. We're all having a good time. Another wrestler, the last sign I'll talk about, was with Leaping Lanny Poffo, who was Randy Macho Man Savage's real-life brother, but not nearly as successful as a professional wrestler. And he was known as the poet laureate of the WWF at the time. So he would get announced, and he would read some stupid poem and throw them out to the crowd. He would disperse. They had like 5 of them scrolled up and throw them out. So we had a sign that said, hey, Leaping Lanny, take your poems and blank. we gave him a direction of where to put them and like spelled out exactly. And we're holding it up and we're laughing. And he's throwing the poems out, the scrolls out, and he sees our sign, looks at us, and gives us a look like we had just crushed his soul.
Oh, really?
Like we could not have
You
offended
really put the
him
hurt on
more,
him.
and his feelings were devastated.
Is that right?
And we went from feeling really good about ourselves to, hey, we're having interaction with wrestlers, to we went too far.
Really?
Oh, my God, we went too far. We just broke Leaping Lanny Poffo. Leaping Lanny Poffo is probably going to retire now because fans in Detroit showed up at ringside with a sign that said, hey, Leaping Lanny, take your poems and blank. And I couldn't have felt worse at the time. My buddy
right?
and I were like, oh, no. The face is complete dejection. I thought he was going to cry. I was amazed he still went out and wrestled after that.
Wow.
So I should have been kicked out, in my opinion. We should have been kicked out. There were 3 of us, 3 or 4 of us that flat out should have been kicked out because of holding up signs that were wildly inappropriate, which to me, it's the same thing as if you shout it out, right?
Sure. So have you ever been privy to somebody getting the thumb, getting ejected? And what was the topic? You don't have to tell us what they said because it's probably unairable, but what was the topic that got them where they went too far? Kind of like Paul Davis last night. 248-539-9797, 97.1.